So you may have heard of beans on toast, but have you ever heard of teens on boast? First start off with some baked beans and then blend them up. And then add some ingredients to make a quick bread such as flour and baking powder. Mix it together until everything is combined and then it should look something like this. And then get a loaf pan, line it with some parchment paper, and then pour in your bean bread. Bake it in the oven at 375 degrees until it's nice and crispy. You get a loaf like this, and then we'll cut some slices out of it, and then throw it back in the oven to toast up a bit. While our boast is toasting, we're going to start with our teens. Start off with some butter, add some flour, and then mix it together, and then add some water while whisking, and it should thicken up something like this. And then add some croutons as our little teens, and all there's left now is to plate it up. Put your boast down first, and then add your teens. And there you have England's famous teens on boast. I gave it a try, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. I used Caesar salad croutons, so it was a little bit garlicky, but you get a bean flavor from the boast, and it's just pretty good.
Women of Reddit, what's your cringy nice guy story? A few years before I met my husband, he decided to go to a party. He gets there and some random girl walks up to him, says you're cute and kisses him. This amused him, so he started chatting with her. While chatting, he notices a very angry, short man standing next to her. The man is scowling at my husband and it's making him uncomfortable. He can tell the guy is pissed at the attention girl is giving him and it's just not worth it, so he stops talking to random girl, turns away, and starts walking to another room. It's at this point husband feels short man punch him in the back. When he turns around, short man is running away and actually runs out of the house and never returns to the party. Husband laughs it off, cause it wasn't even a hard punch. But then somebody notices husband is bleeding and there is a hole in his shirt. The short fucker hadn't punched him, he stabbed him. Random girl saw this all go down and was pretty mortified. Turns out the short dude was obsessed with her, they were best friends, and he accompanied her everywhere. The knife was pretty small, so it didn't do any real damage, but he still has the scar.
I see your I see your I see your monsters, I see your pain. Tell me your problem.
Firmly convinced this is the biggest fumble of the century. So the girl says, hey, I just want to hit you up and say I had a great time with you last night and I would love to go out again sometime. That's good. That's very good. The guy says, I had a good time too. I would love to go out again too. But can I be honest with you for 1 second? Oh boy. Sure. Go ahead. I couldn't believe you agreed to go out with me. I never imagined it in a million years. Okay, he can still save himself here if he just shuts up. He just gotta shut up. I thought that after you would have realized you made a big mistake. Nani? This next part just destroys my soul. I thought about going to the next level with you because I thought I would blow it and never get a chance to do things the right way. But after last night, when you saw how nice of a guy I was, I thought I had actual people who are actually nice never say that they're nice. Get it in your damn head. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. Like, I genuinely don't understand how you can screw up that badly. You had all the ducks in the line and you just missed the shot. Tips to the guys out there, just shut up. Shut up. Stay tuned for the next episode of Nice Guys.
Ladies of Reddit, what's the most weird/cringe thing a guy has done to try to impress you? He said he wanted to get his belly button pierced so he could wear matching jewelry to me. In an effort to compliment my appearance, he called my friend fat in her face. I worked in retail when I was in my early 20s and we had tons of regular customers. One of the regulars was a man in his 40s or maybe 50s. Nice enough fellow. One day out the absolute blue, he tells me that he makes rubber casts of women's nipples and to consider having him cast mine, so that I could give a set to my boyfriend. And then he pulled a rubber nipple out of his pocket, and put it on the counter in front of me, and welcomed me to touch it and marvel at its natural, authentic look and feel. Poor little 21-year-old me had no idea where to look or what to say. Of course I touched it, and told him it was indeed very realistic because I just didn't know I could do anything else. Too bizarre.
Hello, sir, you need help finding anything?
Do I need help finding?
Yeah, do you need help?
Yes, I actually require a map. I need help navigating through a store that is approximately 1,600 square feet.
Oh,
That was a joke.
got it. Thank you for helping me understand that, sir.
I actually do have a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any apparel here that is not meant to be worn by millennial hipsters that are living in squalor?
Oh boy. Yeah, sorry to disappoint you, sir, but I don't think we do.
Going against my better judgment, I will be purchasing this since it does go with another outfit.
Of course,
However,
the stolen valor.
I will need to sanitize this since it's probably infested with mites like everything else in this store.
We don't have mites here, sir, but I do agree there's nothing worse than a pest.
No, I'm pretty sure I can come up with things that are worse.
No, sir, you're wrong. There is nothing in this world that is more annoying than a squeaky, irritating little pest. Come on in, sir. Let's talk about your case. Let's talk about this fender bender.
There wasn't any bending of either vehicle's fenders.
Okay.
What happened was I impacted the plaintiff's bumper.
Fair enough.
Damaged it, which is why I was cited with Motor Vehicle Code 3131 Section A. Do I need to go over the code with you?
No, sir, that won't be necessary. Let me ask you this. Can you just run me through what happened on the day of the accident so I better understand?
Okay, if you insist. At 10:05 a.m., I opened up my eyelids after 12 hours of hibernation. I then sat up at a 90-degree angle in bed.
No, sir, what I mean is, can you explain what happened from your perspective at the time of the accident?
Okay, then why didn't you just specify that?
I should have, sir, but I'll never make that mistake again.
By the way, am I paying you by the hour?
No, sir, your insurance pays me.
Well, thank the imaginary
And you know
GTO
what?
above for that.
I'm going to recommend to your insurance company we settle for the whole policy.
And why is that?
Because if we went to trial, not a single juror would like you. Is that guy alright? Oh my goodness. Are you okay, young man?
I'm experiencing 10 out of 10 pain on the medical pain scale in my abdomen area. Is anyone here a qualified medical professional?
Hi, I'm actually a gastro. Can I take a look at you for a second?
Gastro. Do you mean gastroenterologist? Oh.
Yeah, that's my specialty.
Okay, your use of brevity is a bit concerning, but I am desperate.
Sorry, it's concerning.
I suppose I will hear your advice.
Well, let me ask you, do you have a history of pancreatitis?
No, I already know what the root cause is.
Okay.
I had a pepperoni and cheese sandwich and it was quite large.
Okay, so you're saying you just ate too much food?
No, eating too much would imply that the solids are making my stomach hurt. But it's actually the air molecules in the bread that are making my stomach hurt because of the expansion of the air.
Good afternoon, sir. Would you like to mail that package today?
No, I just carry this around as a fashion statement.
That's a good joke, sir. I'll definitely have to use that one.
Why would you use that joke when you're not a customer? You work here.
That's an excellent point, sir. Yes, I do work here. Anyway, what type of item are you sending today?
It's a KVM switch.
Okay, would that fall under general electronics, or...?
It's a KVM switch.
Right, but I need to pick the category on the screen. I'm wondering, is it a general electronic? Is it a computer part? Is it...
It's a hardware device for dual setup?
Sorry, sir, I'm still not clear what that is, but if you can just provide the category, I can get you on your way.
I can't believe I have to do this.
Yes, I can't believe you're doing this either, sir.
Okay, let's break it down. KVM. K for keyboard.
Excellent, it's a computer part. I'll just put that down. I'm so glad we had this discussion, sir.
Reddit, what is your most cringe story about someone who has a crush on you? My work started using a program that began hiring ex-cons. One of the guys hired through this program started showing interest in me. I wasn't attracted to him at all and made it clear to him, repeatedly. Long story short, he got fired 3 months later, but kept coming around the store to visit his friends. I go out to my car to read during lunch like normal and go inside, and no sooner than when I clock in, I hear a page that I have a phone call. It's him. All he says is, "You look so pretty when you're reading." I hung up immediately and told the manager. He kept doing more things that escalated the creepiness. I ended up getting an emergency restraining order against him when I found out he added me as an emergency contact with his parole officer. I didn't even know him.
Reddit, what's your cringy nice guy story? A few years before I met my husband, he decided to go to a party. He gets there and some random girl walks up to him, says you're cute and kisses him. This amused him, so he started chatting with her. While chatting, he notices a very angry, short man standing next to her. The man is scowling at my husband and it's making him uncomfortable. He can tell the guy is pissed at the attention girl is giving him and it's just not worth it, so he stops talking to random girl, turns away, and starts walking to another room. It's at this point husband feels short man punch him in the back. When he turns around, short man is running away and actually runs out of the house and never returns to the party. Husband laughs it off, cause it wasn't even a hard punch. But then somebody notices husband is bleeding and there is a hole in his shirt. The short fucker hadn't punched him, he stabbed him. Random girl saw this all go down and was pretty mortified. Turns out the short dude was obsessed with her, they were best friends, and he accompanied her everywhere. The knife was pretty small, so it didn't do any real damage. But he still has the scar.
What up, Reddit? It's Kendrick Lamar. 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 What up, Reddit? It's Kendrick Lamar.
Well then, tell your a-hole boyfriend he needs to watch his back.
What is the grossest thing you've ever done? When I was really young, like 15 years old, we had this female dog. I would just spend my days crawling around with her pretending to be a dog as well. You know, a kid being a kid. I would roll around with her in the mud, crawl around with her across the house, sometimes even try to eat out of the food bowl with her. She gave birth to 3 puppies over the course of a year. I would then pretend to be one of the puppies and do whatever they are doing as if she was my mother. Occasionally I would watch her breastfeeding her puppies and I would get curious on what it tasted like. So one day, I was playing around like normal pretending to be a puppy and after an hour or so she began breastfeeding the puppies. I then straight up sucked on her nipple along with them. Obviously I was a wee little kid so I didn't know any better. I was just trying to be a puppy too. But after getting breastfed I realized that I kinda like how it tasted. So I then would continue to drink milk from her for the next few months. It became part of my morning routine. I would even start experimenting by milking her into a cup and adding it to my cereal, or adding it to milkshakes. But remember I was just a tiny little innocent kid. One day my mom would catch me in the action, full mouth to nipple, and I got in major trouble. She thought I was mentally ill and tried to send me to a therapist, but I would tell her how I was just a child who didn't know any better. Remember I was only 15. I also told her if she would have just breastfed me herself this wouldn't have been a problem to begin with. I gained consciousness a few years later and I remembered what I'd done, and I am a bit disgusted looking back at it. I hired a male babysitter to make sure my older son wouldn't have intimacy with a female babysitter, but I found out he was gay. Last week, due to work-related reasons, my husband and I were not going to be at home Friday night. Normally this wouldn't be a problem as my 16-year-old takes care of my 8-year-old when this happens, but he had soccer practice until 8 p.m. which means he was arriving home say 9. Too late. So we had to get a babysitter. Luckily for me, the school has a list of teens that are available for odd jobs and we could get one of them. Because we live a little bit far away and whoever came likely needed to stay the night, I decided no girls for obvious reasons. I know, sex should not be a taboo but teenage hormones are teenage hormones and modesty aside, my genes are good. My boy is quite handsome if I do say so myself and I don't want to be a grandma before reaching the 50s. So we get a boy, a pretty decent young man a grade below my son, super friendly, with good references. Perfect in all ways. I left Friday night trusting my awesome mama ideas. Come Saturday morning 7 a.m. and things are weird. First of all, my teenage son is awake. He would never, ever, not in a million years wake early on weekends. Last time I saw him do that he was 10. And both guys were, I don't know how to explain it, but you could feel it. They looked uncomfortable when talking to each other during breakfast but at the same time wanted to talk. And in hindsight I can swear they were blushing like crazy. I didn't think too much of it until recently when I casually heard my son talking on the phone and he mentioned this kid's name, not at all common in our area. I also realized that this week he has been talking a lot on the phone, normally he would just text. I know, it's all very vague, but while I never had the vibe my son could be gay is not entirely impossible. And I was sure something happened that night between them. A few days later, I was driving down the street past the park to do some groceries. What I saw almost made me throw up or crash my car. The boys were sitting on a bench at the park, damn near eating each other's faces out. I didn't know what to do, I'll handle that later. At that moment, I had to get out before I started screaming. I guess my little plan against teenage love completely backfired.